As teachers, as parents, too often we're trying to teach kids our sight words the wrong way. Have you ever done this? Friend, said, was, she. Say the flashcards. Let's practice those flashcards. Let's practice those. That does not work. Why doesn't it work? Because the reading brain does not store words as visual images. You heard me right. The reading brain does not store words as visual images. So why would we practice them as visual images? It is not going to help our kids read tricky words. It is not going to help our kids spell tricky words. What we need to do is utilize the process of orthographic mapping to teach our sight words. Orthographic mapping is the process we use to store words into our long-term memory. To successfully map a word, a student needs to have knowledge of the pronunciation and meaning of a word, advanced phonemic awareness skills, and letter sound knowledge. Sight words can be phonetically regular, like the word cat, or phonetically irregular, like the word what. What makes a word a sight word is the ability of our brain to read it instantaneously on sight. In fact, our brains process sight words so fast that it can recognize the word cat faster than it can recognize a picture of a cat. That's why we want our kids to store as many words as possible as sight words in their brain. Let me show you one way to help your students orthographically map their words. Let's start with a phonetically regular word like cat. The first thing you're going to do is tap it, map it, and then you're going to graph it. When you tap it, you're going to say each sound in the word. Before you start, make sure your student knows the meaning of the word. They need something to attach all of this new learning to, and that's why vocabulary is so important to the reading process. Your student knows what cat is. They already have the meaning. They're bringing that part into as you're doing the orthographic mapping process. So then you can go ahead and move on to the phonemic part where we're hearing each individual sound. Have them tap each phoneme or each individual sound in the word to hear all the separate phonemes. K, a, t. Then we're going to map it. K, a, t. Finally, we're going to graph it. I call it graph it because the letters that represent the sounds are called graphemes. So let's go ahead and graph the word by finding the correct grapheme for each sound. K. C is the grapheme in cat that makes the k sound. K. A. T. The word is cat. What you're doing in the orthographic mapping process is helping students connect the sound that they hear in the word to the grapheme that they're going to see, read, and write. Now let's try it with an irregular word. It's going to be the same process. We'll just take a little bit more time to pay attention to those irregular sounds. So first we're going to tap it. What? W, t. Then we're going to map it. W, t. Then we're going to graph it. W, WH together are the grapheme that matches that W sound in what? W, t. Then you might ask your student, which sound is tricky or irregular in that word? And they would find the A because it sounds like a short U, but it's not, it's an A. They might underline it, write it in a different color, circle it, put a heart around it, whatever they like to do to help their memory that that's the tricky sound. They can table write it in the air, trace the letters. All of those multisensory techniques are going to help them with this process.